Padre fans, I told you last week, you can't be angry, you can't be bitter, and don't be frustrated. It's still early. I know the Dodgers have signed everybody, and they continue to work on deal. I mean, there was a rumor over the weekend, and I'm not buying it, that they would bring in Alex Bregman, maybe even on a 1-year contract. He's having a hard time finding a home. Probably not going back to Houston. There's talk he could go to Boston. But hey, the days are clicking off. I mean, pitchers and catchers report on February 12th, and the rest of the squad reports on February 17th. I understand. I'm bitter and angry that we haven't done anything, but I'm not going to worry about it yet. I'm not going to worry about it yet because I do think the Padres have the ability to do some things. But you have to give up some players. You'll have to give up some players. Now, there's a couple of different ways that AJ can go about this. He can roll the dice. Maybe pick up one pitcher. And he could roll the dice with Terso or Nellis out there in left field and Eggy Rosario out there in left field, left-handed, right-handed platoon. But what I'm afraid of, and this is when I would be angry, bitter, and frustrated, is if the Padres trade Arise or Cease or both of them. I think Michael King will probably come back. We'll have to wait and see what happens in this arbitration case. And that's the other thing. If I'm bitter about anything, Michael King and the Padres are like $1.5 million short. Okay. Michael King needs about $1.5 million and he'd be a happy guy. But they're going to have to go to arbitration. And this would be the first time in AJ Preller's tenure he would have to go to arbitration with the player. And that doesn't work out well for either side. If the player wins, he's happy and the organization's upset. If the organization wins, you got an unhappy player. And a lot of times you end up trading that player almost immediately. And remember, Michael King's got 1 year left on his contract. But I'm bitter from the standpoint, we got a good ball club here. We got a really good ball club. And I realized the payroll was high. And I still think the payroll, as much as they say it's going to be around 200 million, it's going to be more than that. It has to be unless you trade off some pieces. But what I'm angry about for you fans, here's what I'm angry about. That I've been told by season ticket holders that I think the last 3 years, if I got this correct, the last 3 years, ticket prices have gone up like 50%. Maybe not in all areas, but in some areas. And there was another 3% raise this year. I don't know how much you can continue to raise the prices at Petco Park. I know. I realize they're selling out. They're doing a hell of a job. There's no question about it. But between the tickets, the concession prices, the parking, it's taken a lot of people out of the game. And I guess at the end of the day, nobody really cares about the people that can't afford it because they're putting 42 plus in a night. But, the blue collar guy, you'd love to get kids to the ballpark because those are the future fans of tomorrow. But there are a lot of people just can't afford to go. Even people that have money, they can only go a couple times a year. I mean, it's a stretch. I mean, you go to a Padres game, it's not cheap, let alone if you a husband, a wife, a couple of kids. And a lot of times the kids want to bring a friend. I mean, it's very difficult. And the prices there are very high, very high. Parking's not cheap. And I'm not going to tell fans, hey, you got to go to the ballpark. You got to go to the ballpark. I'm very thankful that we have such a great fan base and such a loyal fan base. But how much can you ask? How much higher can you take these ticket prices? But anyways, I understand the angriness, the bitterness, and people being frustrated because I'm right there with you. I don't really know what to expect. I mean, if I had to guess right now and I had to make a prediction on our Padres this year, I would think we're going to finish in third place as of right now. Now, things can change. We could all of a sudden make a deal and, get a couple of guys, get an arm, get an outfielder, maybe take on a little bit of money If that's even in the equation, I don't know. But I think over what the last 2 years AJ Preller has done, we got to have confidence in him. My biggest thing with AJ right now is he going to get a shot to do anything? Is this ownership group going to give him an opportunity to do anything? I don't know. I really don't know. Let's get to what's who's going to run the Padres and when will we find out? Right now, John Seidler is waiting to be voted in by Major League Baseball. That should come, fairly soon, I would imagine, before spring training. But Eric Katsenda technically is still the team chairman, then John Seidler would take over. And in this lawsuit, Shiel Seidler apparently would like him to be, removed. I don't know. I mean, between Matt and Robert and John, I don't know where this is going to go. Where I think it's going to go is I do think, and I've thought this since Peter passed away, I think this ball club will be sold. I really do. I mean, Peter Seidler wanted to win so bad for you fans that he over leveraged himself. And I think Major League Baseball wasn't all that excited about that. You got to go back, and I know he won't talk, but you got to wonder why the partnership of Peter Seidler and Ron Fowler blew up. Ron Fowler loved being down there. Him and his wife, they had their own little seats they made for him down there. They loved being down there. All of a sudden, 2020, he's out. He walks out the door, gets out. What happened? Maybe he didn't want to, continue to throw money at the Padres. There were cash calls. Other owners, minority owners, there was a cash call. And we know, and it's not that uncommon, the Padres had to take, a $50 million loan last year to make payroll. That was reported. I don't know where this is going to go, but I'm going to tell you right now. And in Kevin Ainsley's article today online in the Union Tribune, he said he talked to nearly 20 people. None of those people went on record of who they are, all anonymous. Some apparently used to work for the ball club, some on the business side, some on the baseball operations side. There's been fear of retribution if anybody talked that are with the organization right now. Padres deny that. This is getting ugly. This is getting ugly, and it's going to continue to get ugly until they get a decision. When that decision is going to come down, I don't know. Will it be before February 12th? Will it be before Manny Machado and company roll in for their first workout in February 17th? Because here's what's going to happen. And by the way, Shiel Seidler did play a part in recruiting Manny Machado back in 2000 and what was it, 2019? He came, I guess it was. And she's become good friends with Manny's wife, Yanni. And I think you're going to have a division here, folks. I hate to say it, and it's going to put the manager in a tough situation. I think there's going to be people on the business side that are probably going to side with the Seidler brothers because they've got a job and they want to keep their job. And if Shiel Seidler gets control, she knows the people that probably haven't been helping her cause, and they'd probably be out of a job. And then on the baseball side, because she has spent time around the players and different community activities, I think she's got some credibility with the players. Now, as far as the manager's concerned, he's in a tough spot. He's in a tough spot. And, what's going to happen when the season starts? And if they haven't decided this, is Shiel Seidler going to be on the field like she was last year with her kids, or is she going to even be allowed in the ballpark? I don't know. Will she be in the owner's box? What's going to happen? How uncomfortable is that going to be for everybody involved? And even if you're not involved, how uncomfortable is that going to be? I'm not taking sides here because I don't know what was in Peter's will or his trust. I just know this, that I think at the end of the day, this ball club will be sold. I really do. And I say that even before this lawsuit, I thought it would be sold. And the other thing, Peter was a financial guy. And he knew, if they were going to get in trouble with money, there's always a bailout because the ball club right now is worth over $2 billion. I mean, everybody could walk away, everybody could cash in and they could walk away and never look back. But right now, everybody's fighting for what they have and what they want to keep. And it's very unfortunate because I think it's really kind of staining um, everything that Peter Seidler worked for. I really do. And I'm sorry because he was a friend of mine. I considered him a friend. We texted all the time. Um, I I really appreciated his friendship. I think he appreciated mine. I know he was a big listener to my radio show because he walked the streets at night to help the homeless. And he would listen to my show and he walked the neighborhood and he was always listening. He always knew what was going on. And Sheila Seidler, I know, I like her. I think she's a very, very nice lady. She's got a big task at hand because she's got 3 young children. And the Seidler brothers, I know Tom, and he's not involved in any of this. Tom's a great guy. I've said that many a time on our podcast and on radio. He does a lot of great stuff in our community, out talking, going to charity events, doing stuff with the military. Great guy. I don't know where he stands. I haven't heard his name mentioned one time in all of this because he just goes out and does his job. I just want what's best for the organization. And really, at the end of the day, I want what's best for you Padre fans out there because we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot with all the different ownerships we've had. C. Arnhold Smith. Then Ray Kroc saved the franchise. He had Tom Warner come in with his band of merry men. They didn't have the money. We had fire sales here. Then John Moores did a great job until him and Becky decided to go their separate ways, and things got real dicey there for a while. Jeff Morad came in, never really fully owned the ball club, walked away when Ron Fowler and Peter Seidler bought it. We've been through a lot. And if you're a longtime Padres fan like me, who was at the very first game on April 8th, 1969, it's tough to watch. I mean, we're right there. And, going back to bitter and angry and frustrated, I'm still bitter, angry, and frustrated about losing to the Dodgers last year. We were up 2-1. We got too cocky. We got flat out too cocky. Just go out there and play the game. And the Dodgers ended up stuffing it up our tailpipe. And they went on and won the world title. They cruised to the world title, blew out the Mets, and, took care of business in the World Series. I mean, that thing was over before it got started. And, we'll see where it goes this year. But, we've got a good core. We've got a really good core. But that core is getting older, and every year that goes by, they're getting a year older. And this may be our last chance for a while, folks. And I say that because I'm right now, I'm going to say we keep all these guys, even though one of them or both of them arise and Cease could be gone. But as of today, I think we can be a playoff team. I wouldn't say that unless I believed it. I think there could be 3 teams coming out of the National League West this year to be in the playoffs. Because I think right now we're probably the 3rd best team. I think Arizona's better than us right now on paper. But again, you don't play the games on paper. But I really think that we can be a playoff team. And if we get in the playoffs, we can be tough. Hopefully Darvish can stay healthy. Hopefully Cease and King can, repeat what they did a year ago. Right now, I would think somebody asked me over the weekend, who do you think the Padre rotation will be? Well, those 3 that I mentioned, and I think right now you got to probably throw in Matt Waldron, who ran out of gas last year, and he'll be better this year, and Randy Vasquez. And then you make Adrian Morejon, if you get him in shape to where he can go multiple innings, that would be great. Johnny Brito's got a good arm. Continue to work with him. You can mix and match. There's no reason why you can't do that. And I think our bullpen will be fine. There's been talk that they may trade Robert Suarez. Why? Why would you trade him? You lost Tanner Scott. Why would you trade Robert Suarez? Why? Because he's making $10 million? So, we'll see where it goes.